Cheetahs finally returned to India after 70 years. Prime Minister Modi released 5 female cheetahs and 3 male cheetahs in Madhya Pradesh's Kunno National Park. Prime Minister Modi, in fact, has released the cheetahs into the enclosure at the national park. The wild cats will remain at the enclosure, which is about 10 kilometers wide, for a month. Prime Minister hailed the historic moment but slammed the UPA government for not repopulating cheetahs since 1952. The 8 cheetahs have been brought to India from Namibia on Prime Minister Modi's 72nd birthday. The big cats travelled over 8,000 kilometers in a Boeing 747-400 aircraft and then were taken to the national park on Air Force choppers.
दशकों पहले जैव विविधता की सदियों पुरानी जो कड़ी टूट गई थी, विलुप्त हो गई थी, आज हमें उसे फिर से जोड़ने का मौका मिला है। आज भारत की धरती पर चीता लौट आए हैं। मैं हमारे मित्र देश नामीबिया और वहां की सरकार का भी धन्यवाद करता हूं, जिनके सहयोग से दशकों बाद चीते भारत की धरती पर वापस लौटे हैं।
Shortly after Prime Minister Modi released the cheetahs in the Kunno National Park, politics erupted. Congress Member of Parliament Jairam Ramesh slammed Prime Minister and called the release of cheetahs a tamasha. He said Project Cheetah goes back to the time when he visited Cape Town in 2010. Congress leaders said the release of cheetahs are a bit to divert attention away from the party's Bharat Jodo Yatra. Prime Minister Modi, while hailing the historic moment, targeted the Congress for not doing anything to repopulate the big cats since their extinction in 1952. A group of 8 cats arrived from Namibia on the occasion of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday today. They will undergo a month-long quarantine before being released in a national park in central India. So that is the sort of politics which has erupted after Prime Minister Modi earlier this morning released 8 African cheetahs into the Kunno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. Reactions have, of course, been pouring in over the politics that has erupted. Listen in.
पिछली सदियों में हमने वो समय भी देखा है जब प्रकृति के दोहन को शक्ति प्रदर्शन और आधुनिकता का प्रतीक मान लिया गया था। 1947 में जब देश में केवल आखिरी 3 चीते बचे थे, तो उनका भी साल के जंगलों में निष्ठुरता व गैर जिम्मेदारी से शिकार कर लिया गया।
ट्वीट किया है कि भारत जोड़ो यात्रा सक्सेसफुल हो रहा है और उसी से अटेंशन हटाने के लिए आज चीता जो है उनको
चीता नहीं, पहले कंटेनर, बाद में टी शर्ट, बाद में विवेकानंदा रॉक मेमोरियल पर झूठ की रानी का टिप्पणी आया, अभी चीता रीइंट्रोडक्शन। देखिए, रोज कुछ ना कुछ हेडलाइन मैनेजमेंट हो रहा है, तो घबराई हुई है, परेशानी में है बीजेपी, तो कुछ ना कुछ डाइवर्जनरी टैक्टिक, गोवा में एमएलए को भाग ले जाना, झारखंड सरकार गिराना, कोशिश करना, अभी तक सफल नहीं हुआ है। अब सोमवार को सुना अमरिंदर सिंह को बीजेपी में शामिल कराएंगे। ये सब हेडलाइन मैनेजमेंट है, जिसमें हमारे प्रधानमंत्री को भारत रत्न मिलना चाहिए, हेडलाइन मैनेजमेंट में, क्योंकि वो हेडलाइन मैनेजमेंट करते हैं और घबराए हुए हैं कि रिस्पॉन्स जो मिला है ये हमारे उम्मीदों से भी ज्यादा है।
The Prime Minister is lying on national television channel. The Prime Minister says that nobody has taken an initiative from 1947 till now. We have already released the photographs of Mr. Jairam Ramesh as an Environment Minister who was in Cape Town in 2010. And also Mr. Manmohan Singh, the then Prime Minister, has given a green signal for the Cheetah project. It was initiated by the UPA government. This habit of the Prime Minister and the Bharatiya Janata Party of lying to the people of the country by saying that nothing happened since 1970, nothing happens in the last 70 years from 1947, and whatever is happening in this country is only post 2014, is something which the Prime Minister of of the country should not be doing. He is not only just lying, he is misleading the people of this country.
देखिए, ये आज भी क्लियर साफ साफ दिख रहा है, इस देश का युवा सबसे ज्यादा बेरोजगार होकर इस रास्ते पे घूम रहे हैं, सड़क पे घूम रहे हैं, डिग्री लेके। उनको नौकरी का दिलाने का इधर तमाम सिटिंग इंडिया, स्टैंडिंग इंडिया, स्लीपिंग इंडिया, तमाम इंडिया फेल हो चुका है। उसको छोड़ के एक इवेंट बनाना है, हर चीज में एक इवेंट हुआ, चीता जाके छोड़ना वो भी एक इवेंट, फोटो खिंचाने का काम करना है। अरे देश का असली मुद्दे पे आप बात नहीं क्यों कर रहे हैं? जो सबसे ज्यादा कमर तोड़ महंगाई है, लोग कैसे महिला रसोई में आंसू से हाथ धो रहा है, उसके ऊपर इन लोग ने कभी ना बात करता है ना चर्चा करता है। जो किस लेवल पे कहीं भी कुछ भी, जो असली मुद्दे पे बात करो ना, इस देश में सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत क्या है इस समय में, उसके ऊपर इनको कोई है नहीं है। कोरोना को भी एक इवेंट बना दो, चीता जोड़ने को एक इवेंट बना दो, बाद में कांग्रेस के ऊपर एलिगेशन लगा दो।
My colleague Mosmi Singh is now joining me live on this. Mosmi, it is of course not very surprising that politics has erupted over this, but the Congress is saying that this is all event management, that the BJP is so threatened by the success of the Bharat Jodo Yatra that they're trying to divert attention by planning events day in and day out from the success of the Yatra?
So clearly, Polemi, politics of upmanship here we are seeing, because we've seen the Congress, stake claim to the entire idea of bringing cheetahs to India. Not now, about a few days back, when the entire news was in the air, and that's when the tweets started with Jairam Ramesh's photograph of visiting Cape Town back then in 2010, and the Congress is claiming and is stating that UPA in fact had launched the Cheetah project. The discussions were on ever since 2008 and 9, and now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leaving no stone unturned to say that none of the successive governments since 1947 did much, and it is the BJP government that's bringing the cheetahs to India. So really, and in the midst of it, you have the Bharat Jodo Yatra that we are covering. So the Congress is quite bolstered by the fact that the support they are getting. And as Jairam Ramesh said, that any controversy is our publicity, and if BJP is making allegations, it is to our advantage, because those allegations don't hold ground. So really we are seeing a tit for tat here. That is what is panning out, Paulomi.
Okay. Mosmi, thank you so much for joining us with those details. Of course, the cheetah relocation project is likely to face many challenges as well. Now, the big cats are good at speed, but are not good in conflicts. One of their greatest challenges to survival is the loss of habitat, together with loss of prey base. Here's the detailed report.
Vulnerable and critically endangered. The world's fastest land mammal is set to arrive at the Kunno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. But the relocation from Namibia in southern Africa to India, where they became extinct 70 years ago, is fraught with challenge. Experts involved in the project agree the reintroduction of the large carnivore to its natural habitat is a longer-term effort.
Possibly could have, and once the cats arrive, they will go into holding bomas that are there in Kunno, which will also be where they'll be staying for the next month. During their quarantine, they're in India as well.
Sleek, meant for speed as high as 74 miles an hour, ducking and diving like an athlete, cheetahs are delicate animals though. Animals which avoid conflict. They may have confronted lions and leopards back in Namibia, but in Kunno, the guests won't be welcomed graciously by competing predators. Like wolves, striped hyenas and sloth bears, not to mention the resident leopards in the Indian habitat, which can very well chase away cheetahs or worse, make a meal of them. And don't forget the tigers ranging in from Ranthambore, just 80 odd miles away. Dietary shift poses another challenge. In Namibia, the cats would go for the small game, bringing them palas on their banquet table. Not a risk-free venture for them in Kunno that offers bigger praise in the buffet, and that explains why the cheetahs will be radio-collared in their new homes.
They are satellite collars and VHF, and so the collars actually have batteries in them that allow them to actually be tracked via satellite, and so we'll be able to follow where they are at all.
Cheetahs are highly adaptable. They have survived and thrived in deserts, grasslands and mountains in southern Africa. International experts extending all assistance they can to the rangers on the ground in Kunno to help the cats adapt.
These cheetahs would much prefer to have wild game than they would to have livestock. And so a lot of it is just for them to adapt to their new area, different sights, different sounds, and find their way around. And that's something that we will be assisting them with the researchers and the rangers on the ground to monitor them very, very closely for the country and for the people around Kunno.
A major experiment in cheetah conservation, a project whose success relies heavily on space, prey and less human interference in their new home. With Ashutosh Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.